Wait, is there much background noise, or is it okay?
No, you're calm.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, people, welcome back to Catabolic Window, episode 100, and who fucking knows? We're here with Jack again this week in your ears, and we've actually got a topic prepared for today, so you guys are in for a treat.
Yeah. What is the topic, mate? Luke hasn't told me.
Oh, are we not? Are we just gonna like dive straight in?
All right, no, okay. Sorry,
No, like foreplay or anything.
I'm just so eager. Sorry, mate. I'm just so eager. I always want to dive right in with
Give
you.
us a quick roundup on the week. How's the week been, mate?
Oh, no, I asked you first. How's your week been? How's Oblivion?
I played 7 hours. That's it. Since it came out a week ago. I forgot that. Yeah, my prediction was right. What do I win?
You get to play Oblivion.
That's a very good. Have you played yet at all?
No. So I literally I saw it announced. Chloe was on the PlayStation. I literally ran into the living room. I snatched the controller out of her hand. She was like, "The fuck are you doing?" I went on the PlayStation store, searched up Oblivion, saw it, and was like, "Oh my god, it's real." But currently, I've got her into Minecraft. It's her first time playing properly.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of I'm trying to get her to where the fuck is the Oblivion episode post, bro? I'm on the wrong account. I'm trying to get through that with her, but we both went through an Oblivion phase at uni where we were both playing it together. So once we finish Minecraft, which is fairly close, then we'll start to do Oblivion together. But,
yeah, well, I never played Shivering Isles. As I said, I didn't get to do the Thief's Guild or finish the Dark Brotherhood. So I'm like, I want to finish these. To be fair, it's much nicer than the original. But it's still got that janky feel to it. Some of the combat AI is really weird.
That's what you want.
Yeah, people will go in really weird positions, and they need to fix the damage scaling between normal and expert difficulty or whatever it is, because it's you literally go from 3-shotting everything to dying at everything. I'm like, oh, this isn't very nice.
Mate, I'm honestly so excited to play it. I can't describe how excited to play it I am. I've had the itch so badly, so badly.
Oh, fair. Good vibes.
Yeah.
Good vibes. Yeah, it's good. I definitely recommend it. Get on it, mate. Get on it. So so topic for this week is, I don't think anything exciting has this happened. I've just cut you off there randomly. I definitely didn't steal this from a much bigger, better bodybuilding podcast. But I asked ChatGPT for questionable bodybuilding trends that may not last, and it's actually giving me some good answers, to be fair.
Okay.
Are there any that you think might come up, bodybuilding trends that might die out, basically?
So what, you asked ChatGPT to give you
a list of them, basically
a list of bodybuilding trends, and we're going to say which ones it said?
No, we're going to talk about the trends.
Oh, okay. And you want me to guess? What the fuck do you want me to guess? I mean, you've lost me already.
Well, are there any that you think might come up?
Oh, okay. Right. 5 to 8 reps, length and partials, super high or super low volume still seem to be super fucking applicable.
Yeah.
I think reps and reserve is recent enough to still be considered a trend, even though it's not a trend. It's just kind of a thing you can do. If you go to the wrong side of the internet, you're going to hear people hating on optimal training when no one says that word anymore, which really pisses me off. I hate when people say, "Oh, I'll get a DM and they'll be like, oh, do you train optimal?" I hate that shit. I'll be like, no one fucking calls it that anymore, bro. I just train. Oh my God. I just train sensibly. Anyway. Yeah, I think those.
Yeah, that was one that came up, was optimal training and obsessive about all that shit.
The thing is now, so people who are science-based don't call themselves optimal anymore, because it's kind of it's woke. It's it's gone out of trend. The only people who use it are people who are hating on it. They'd be like, "Oh, fuck optimal," and it's I hate Jeff Nippard. He's so optimal. If you said, "Jeff Nippard, are you optimal?" he'd be like, "Shut the fuck up. We hate that word." No one likes that word anymore. It's such a stupid word. It honestly pisses me off. I'm fuming today.
Yeah, like anything, I was one that I think is gonna die out is pre-prep diets.
Yeah,
because I'm seeing a lot of people do them now that like don't really need to do it.
Yeah,
it's now gone from you start prep 16 weeks out with 50 pounds of body fat to lose and like fucking chase your tail the entire time to everybody needs to do a pre-prep diet. Like I was thinking about this. I did my client Tom and I ran a mini cut a little while ago, and like he was before that to like, go straight into a prep. Like he's just one of those people that doesn't get fat enough to need one. Like it max gonna have 30 pounds to pull off. Like you just don't really need one from there. But there's people that are doing it now that you've got visible abs. Why the fuck are you doing a pre-prep diet? You're just handicapping yourself.
Yeah, I think the obsession with condition has got people to a point where like they're chasing condition and they don't have the muscle mass to get truly conditioned. And that's not me saying that like you have to be huge. I just mean like there are people who just don't carry a lot of tissue at all. Like me and you 2 or 3 years ago, competing probably not been good. Like 3 years ago. Yeah, so but I think the idea behind a pre-prep diet kind of, there's a good push towards now keeping condition not lean but sensible in a gaining phase. And if you do that, you don't really need the pre-prep. That kind of is the pre-prep. Like if you're fat, you need a pre-prep or a stupid long prep. If you're not, you don't. You're just, if you stay within striking distance of prep, like you're calm. Striking distance being like 30-40 pounds. It's not like 5 pounds.
Well, it's it's going to be different based on the. I think a reasonable landmark for a prep is like 15% of your body weight to lose.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? Because if you say 30-40 pounds, like 40 pounds for me is I'm fat. Like I'm fucking fat.
Okay, yeah, true. I'll give you that. True.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So another one that came up was excessive data tracking. So like getting the average person to track their HRV and their REM sleep and their deep sleep and their resting heart rate every single day and giving them like 7 different metrics to reflect upon the session of like pump, soreness, just how their fucking joints are feeling and all the shit like that.
I think, yeah, I definitely think that trend's going to die off. I think excessive data tracking comes from coaches who feel pressure to have to. I think a lot of coaches feel insecure about their ability or about their knowledge. And so the way that they kind of come up with that, or the way that they work around that, is like, oh, I'll get them to track, a million things that they normally wouldn't track. Like you did 10,000 steps, but what was the pace of those steps? How long did it take you to do them? Or where was the timing of those? Or breaking sleep.
Yeah, imagine tracking the time that you do your steps.
Yeah, your steps pacing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely things that, like, I think it is just coaches who feel pressure to have to track those things rather than like, if you need to track those things, fair enough, but there's going to be very few cases where you do, and ultimately, what are you actually going to do with that data? I think as soon as you start questioning what you're going to do with that information, you have to question whether getting the information in the first place is worth it.
Yeah. One of the things I ask new clients when they sign up is how much data do you want to track? And I give them a couple of options, which is like, what do you mean by tracking data? That tells me a fair amount. Just if they tick that option, it would be whatever I need for my goal, the minimum amount I can get away with. I want to know sort of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As to give them a couple of different options.
I think even then, absolutely everything. I think people will be surprised maybe what's not in there. You know what I mean? Like, I know, Kuba, I love you, but I know that you've definitely got some crazy tracking on some clients. And I think a little bit of that is like, when you track to that degree, there is no margin for error and you can pretty much guarantee success. But I think you could also guarantee success with less tracking. But if you're going for that, you're going for that. Do you know what I mean? Like you're probably, if you're going to Kuba, you're expecting to be like, told to track everything. the same way that like if you're going to JP back in the day, you'd be expecting to like get told you're a fucking soft cunt.
And you just need to want it badder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I definitely think the excessive tracking is like a bit of a kind of, bodybuilders are very neurotic. I think it's reflecting that onto their clients and not being comfortable with any level of autonomy within clients. Some people are going to like it, but I think some people are really going to struggle with that. And just because you're not tracking it doesn't mean that like, if just because you're not getting into the nitty gritty of sleep, like I tend to, for most people, track sleep on a scale of 1 to 5 of like, how good was it roughly? Even then some people are like, what's the difference between a 3 and a 4? And I'm like, fine, you can put good, middle, shit. And even that is like, okay, if we get routinely shit, then we'll look into that and we'll start to make some changes. But
Yeah,
if we're getting routinely good, I don't give a shit about what your REM sleep is. It's good, it's fine, you're fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I completely agree. It's more tracking is warranted when you're not getting the desired result from the current amount of tracking you're doing.
And if there's, particularly if there's something ambiguous as to what the cause could be, like if someone tells me they have shit sleep and I say, walk me through your sleep, and they say I scroll on TikTok for 4 hours, I don't need to give them more variables to know what's going on. I might put a tick box in that's like, put your fucking phone away an hour before bed.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, that's not really data tracking. That's more like, you know, box ticking, which I'm a big fan of people. But yeah, excessive data tracking is certainly, I think that's already getting phased out though. A lot of the top coaches that are in the industry, I think, are a bit more balanced in their approach. I think like Tim, Christian, Cal, Tom Hames, Martin, I think those guys are pretty essential with their tracking, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, next one. Over-reliance on SARMs.
Wow.
It's put why it's trendy, marketed as a steroid alternative with fewer side effects. It might not last long term because the safety is unknown and there are lots of regulatory bans increasing.
So this is interesting. I'd say this is more of a fitness issue than a bodybuilding issue. I don't think bodybuilders are taking SARMs, because if you're,
there was a guy in the gym he was like, he was telling me that he's been back in the gym for 2 weeks, so he's going to go on SARMs now. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why?
Because he's a retard.
I think this is the thing, is like, you're if you're into bodybuilding, you're probably into natural or enhanced bodybuilding. You very rarely get someone who wants to do enhanced bodybuilding who is scared of enhanced bodybuilding, which I think is just kind of what like SARMs are. Yeah, I think it's much more like bro-y, fitnessy, like kind of generic lifting, whereas like bodybuilders, I think, just like inject themselves or not.
Yeah, it's you don't have to be a genius to work out when they say something is going to be as good as taking steroids but gives you none of the downsides of taking steroids, that it's just total utter bollocks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the downsides are potentially different depending on what you take, but yeah, there are hella downsides, and it's nowhere near as good. I mean, both of those are wrong. Like, it is nowhere near as good, and there are more downsides. I think that's kind of the main argument that I would say, is like, people take them because they're like, oh, I want gear without having to pin, and it's like, you would genuinely be better off dialing in as a natural. Like,
yeah, and that's why I think most people go on gear, is because they aren't getting the results that they want naturally, but they're fucking up loads of shit that if they just sort it out naturally, they'd get the gains they wanted.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, the amount of time I see people who are like half-arsing, they'll like go in the gym, kind of like fuck around, do whatever. They won't have a proper split. They won't train everything. They'll go in, feel it out, do whatever, vaguely eat protein, kind of track, kind of not. On the weekend, they'll fuck it off, and then they'll take a SARM because they'll be like, I'm ready to lock in, bro. And it's like, no. Like you will genuinely be better. You will genuinely make more progress natural than on SARMs if you are actually locked in. If anyone listening to this is considering taking SARMs and you don't live like Luke first, then do that for a year, maybe 2, then consider fucking going enhanced. Don't take SARMs. If you live like Luke for a year, you'll make progress than you will on fucking 2 years on SARMs.
Literally, mate. Well, my last 3 years of training, I've made more progress than I did in my first 3.
Yep.
Because I actually knew what the fuck I was doing.
Exactly, mate. I think you'd get surprised like what you can do as a natural when you really put absolutely everything into it. But you have to put absolutely everything into it. And I think people's idea of absolutely everything doesn't incorporate enough. Doing the opposite of like talking about excessive data tracking. I think a lot of people who, if you're interested in taking SARMs, I really don't think you give a shit enough of a shit about the gym. I've never met anyone who's fully into training and bodybuilding, maxing everything out, who isn't who's into SARMs and is maxing everything out,
Yeah. I heard a really interesting idea the other day. He basically coined it the awareness gap, which is like clients feel like they're doing a lot and not getting the results that they want, or just general people. They feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort, but it's just not seeming to be working. And if you say to them, just fucking work harder, they're like, I'm already working really fucking hard. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting what I want out of it. So what difference is fucking working harder going to be? But the difference is that what we think they need to do to get the result they want and what they think they need to do are different.
Yeah.
We know sort of what it actually takes. And sometimes they think that the degree that they're working hard to should be enough. But it's not always the case. And rather than just saying like fucking work harder, it's our job to help cultivate that. And they think, oh, I'm doing all of this hard work. If I just take a SARM, it's going to fucking boost it. It's like, well, actually, like on a scale of 1 to 10, you're probably at a 4 right now with the shit that you're doing.
I think a lot of people just don't understand the true level of depth that you can get into with what being 100% looks like. I think a lot of people have an idea of the gym, like, when people
I'm not 100%. You're not 100%.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And we want as much fucking progress as possible, really. Like if we were 100%, we'd do like fucking AM PM sessions. We'd probably have 5-6 meals a day to really maximize fucking nutrient timing, and like we'd not play a bit Oblivion because we need to get that extra hour of sleep. Like I don't fucking want the results that badly. I quite like playing Oblivion. It's good.
Yeah, there's always things that you can kind of like focus and improve on, and you'll always walk out of a session with something else that you could improve or something else to think about. Like for next time, you'd always have some level of like feedback for yourself. But that's the thing, is a lot of people when they first start training, they think that like just going to the gym is the hard part. Like, they're just like happy to be at the gym, and that quite quickly develops into like, no, there are levels and levels and levels to this.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I feel like we've exhausted that.
Yeah, we have.
No. We've kind of done the overcomplication with biohacking gadgets, red light therapy, cryo chambers, glucose monitors. Okay, we've touched on some of those, but yeah, the fucking cryo chamber thing is like so gonna fucking die. Well, not chamber, like ice baths I'm thinking of.
I'm so sick of external recovery methods, man. I'm so sick of them. Like, the point of bodybuilding is to recover yourself, right? That's kind of the whole thing of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Like the recovery is building muscle growth. The recovery is not, it's that idea of like building muscle in the gym. So then they want to go back to build as much muscle in the gym as possible and like perform as best as possible. And it's like, no, you build the muscle outside the gym. The muscle building is the recovery. Why are you trying to take away from that? But anyway,
it's the same thing as sleep, where people will try and make it better and then making it worse because they're then stressing about, oh my god, I haven't got my ice bath in for the day.
Yeah.
Or fucking whatever it is there. I heard I was watching the Physique Collective video a little while ago, and there's a lot of data to support that like just fucking getting a hug off like your partner or your family or something like that is really good for recovery. like the physical and emotional connection or something like that. And Joe was talking about in prep, like almost programming in hugs with your like intimate family. And like that's incredible.
Yeah,
that is the most bodybuilder thing I've ever fucking heard.
No, man,
But
honestly,
I actually back it, to be fair.
No, yeah, I back it. Like, just doing, like, if you want to know how to be as relaxed as possible and recover as best as possible, ask yourself what you find relaxing and aim to be as relaxed as possible.
Yep.
You know, like, if you find a bath and a massage really relaxing, go and do that. If you don't, then don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we
Right.
killed
What's the
that
next trend?
pretty quickly. Fucking hell. Next one we have got using AI for workout programming. It's trendy because it's quote unquote personalized, generated instantly, but there's a big lack of real-time feedback or any fucking nuance or whatsoever.
I don't know how big. Again, I think this is more of a fitness trend than it is a bodybuilding
Yeah,
trend.
I feel like I did ask it bodybuilding. Fuck you, ChatGPT. You're letting me down.
It's gonna put bodybuilding as just like fitness. But yeah, man, I mean, it's better than no plan. The more hurdles you have to jump through to get a plan, or the more that it costs to get a plan, generally, maybe, hopefully, the better it's going to be. Right? If you're paying a coach, what's that?
I hope so.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you're like paying a coach, you're gonna get the best level of plan. If you're getting a one-off program that's cheaper, it's gonna be worse. You get a free one, it's cheaper. You get an AI, which is very free, it's gonna be even cheaper. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things where it's fine. It's better than nothing. I think if you're clueless, cool, but you're not going to be able to run it forever, and there's definitely going to be some issues. But I mean, you can make progress. But I feel like you could also probably come up with something yourself that's probably pretty similar to AI. You ever looked at AI programs? They're so fucking generic.
I think for general fitness people though, what AI comes up with is better than what they could come up with. Whereas for bodybuilding, like people that are pretty into the bodybuilding scene, what they could come up with is going to be better than what AI could. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Maybe I'm out of touch with like general fitness.
Mate, no. Like I remember I ran into a guy a little while ago that was like, I've got this program off ChatGPT. It's my first day at the gym. Like, what is this machine?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so you got this program, but you don't actually like you can't work out matching up the machine that it's telling you to do with the machine in the gym that's got the fucking name on it.
Oof.
So you're like, you've got step one, and you're like, you're fucked from there, basically.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And it's almost worse because then they're like, well, it's telling me to do a chest supported row, and this one's labeled as like fucking low row. Well, it's not told me to do low row, but I can't find the one that I want. What the fuck do I do now?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, because you're just gonna like blindly follow it. I mean, it'll give you like a machine lateral raise or something, and you're just not gonna have that.
And even then, this is one of my hottest fitness takes, but like I think I could get somebody better results with no program whatsoever. Actually just teaching them how to do shit properly than giving them a rigorous program and fucking sending them on their way.
Yeah.
Of like, you have to do each of these exercises all the fucking time.
Yeah, I can see that. If you're naturally controlling a movement well, aligning it well, and training with relative intensity, and you're eating appropriately, like progression will come. Particularly if you're newer to the gym, progression will definitely come. As you get a bit more advanced, the window of the gap or the amount of flexibility that you have definitely falls down. But yeah, I mean, you know, as you're pretty new, things are pretty easy. But it's like with all things, like you can just kind of show up to the gym, not really worry about much, and just make good progress. But when you're again further along, the level of hoops you have to jump through gets harder.
Yeah, we've got to label this episode something like fitness trends that won't last. I think that'll be good.
Yeah,
be good. Anyway, what was I going to say? The next one I really like is natty or not culture, in the sense of like people are always trying to work it out, and I think it's actually like the average person doesn't have a very good sense of what is genuinely possible. Like when you've got someone that's just a fucking freak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like most people can't get to, like, taking gear or not, can't get to the level that even half good natural people can.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. Natty or not, I think it's curiosity and it's like misunderstanding. So like a lot of people aren't gonna like a lot of people always, they don't know what taking gear is like, so they're always gonna wonder like, oh, could I do that? Or it's kind of like that, can I do that thing? Or do I need drugs to do that? I don't know if that will ever go away, to be honest, because I think people are always gonna want to be, I don't know, that the people are always, when people are new to the gym especially, they want to look like someone. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they,
mate, that fucking grinds my gears when I send you a picture. Like, I want to look like this.
it's not
Like,
a haircut, mate. It's not a fucking haircut. You
that's
know,
the best way to put it. Oh my god, it's not a haircut.
you
Yeah, like
can't.
when you go to the barbers, and imagine that you sign up with a coach, and they're like, "Do you want to look like number 1 or 15?"
Yeah, like I can't control your insertions and the way that like your muscles grow and your structure.
As good as it
But
would be.
I'd love to, but I can't. You know. But anyway, I mean, I think it's always going to be there. I genuinely think it's always going to be there. I do worry sometimes long term about like PEDs and like the fitness industry long term, and like more and more people are using them, and that's not something I feel great about. Um, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I just don't want the gym to be as soon as you get in, you start taking gear. That's realistically all I want.
Absolutely not, mate. But there are
No.
more and more people doing that, unfortunately.
There's more and more people doing it very casually as well. But
It's a great fucking time to be in the industry that we're in, because fitness is becoming like more popular than ever.
yeah, agreed. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I think natural or not is always going to be there. The thing is, you're still going to, because people just inherently find a natural physique that's big more impressive than an enhanced one that's big. I think because when you're natural, it's like theoretically you've got all the tools there. You don't, because you're not that person. But like, you know, people look at Ronnie Coleman natural and they're like, oh my god, he's so big. I'm natural and I'm nowhere near that. And I guess like most of the people who care about natural or not are natural, whereas most of the people who are on gear, I mean, you still have the subculture of, hey bro, what you running, which is the similar thing, a similar idea of like, you know, you hear that like
You
Jack
take
Eagle,
a cycle and you look like them. It's exactly the same as idea as like, when I get to 4 plates, I'll have big legs automatically. So I need to get to 4 plates as quickly as possible.
yeah, or this person does this much, so I want to do that much too. It's just the thing about like physique stuff is you're always going to, particularly when you're new, I think once you've got like a decent physique, like me or you, we can kind of visualize ourselves bigger. Not that it really matters, but like it's like that old Arnold quote of like, you visualize the physique you want and then you bring it into reality or whatever the fuck. I think for people who are very outcome focused, once you see what your muscle looks like, you can kind of picture yourself bigger. But when you're new, you're just like, I just want to look like this guy. And like you kind of compare to other people. I remember looking at other people and being like, how do I get that? How do I do that? What's that? That looks cool. I want to like have that. But yeah, I think there's always going to be an element of natty or not, and there's always going to be an element of what are you taking, bro? Because I want to look the same. It's just comparison. We're humans. We always compare. There's no way around it. You know, like you can't win either way, because if you are natural or if you're big on a low dose, people will just say you're lying, or they'll say that you've got crazy genetics. If you're a big natural,
that's because there's stories of people that like, in the nicest way possible, look like complete and utter shit running loads of gear.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh well, if this guy looks shit and he's on all this gear, then this guy that looks good can't be natural.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got like, if you've got anyone who is a very good bodybuilder like Ronnie Coleman, everyone's like, oh, it's genetics, bro, and they just kind of chalk it all up to genetics, which is kind of sucky for those people, you know. But oh well, it is what it is. It's one of those things. I don't think it's ever going away.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, what one we got next? super specialized gym machines and isolation devices. Okay, what the fuck? I guess the way that I'd word that would be like very complicated machines that I don't think make much of a difference. Like we pull up the one that I put into the chat the other day, you know, the split squat machine.
On it.
Because yeah, I was looking at that there and I'm like, this is just so not needed. Like it's just not. Like there's machines that are being designed now. The footprint of them is fucking ginormous. And they just like they look worse than just performing the traditional size.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. I think, my God, shit like this is kind of more of an attraction and a fairground ride
than
it is like it's more. It's like a, I don't know. It's like it's like a sales point or a marketing bullet point. We even have a lunge machine, you know, more than it is like useful.
And it's just designed wank because any like fucking amount of weight on that is going to feel so weird as that platform sliding back.
Yeah.
Like what you almost need is just a solid platform all the way back with like, you know, when you go to a playground and there's the climbing bit and it's got sort of the wooden indents in it.
Yeah.
You just need something like that you can sort of jam the back of your toes and foot against. And it'll be great.
It's
what are the comments saying?
Even the bar can travel forward and backwards in the little thing.
Oh, that's fuck, man.
There's just not that much stability for a machine. Just very weird.
Yeah, it's basic. It's like doing a barbell lunge, but you've got your foot on those fucking floor sliders things. I'm like, that seems terrible. Why the fuck would you use that?
Yeah, you'd be better off with a safety bar. And
mate, I love a safety bar.
Same, mate, same. A safety bar and something fixed in position.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
The only issue that I have found with safety bars recently is that if you're training a small female, the thing is just too wide and it almost falls off the side of them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal at all.
That's the issue with you know, like very specialized equipment is, I mean, even a safety bar is somewhat specialized, but if you're making like machines fit to a certain specification, you're going to have people of different shapes and sizes that just aren't going to fit that.
One of the most important features of a good machine is adjustability.
Yeah, true. I mean, ease of use as well, generally. But yeah, I don't think super specialized machines are going to go away.
Yeah, you can go too far with adjustability. Like the fucking, whilst it's nice for us, like the pendulum squats that allow you to really change the angle and exactly the position of the foot plate are very confusing for a lot of people. And they'll just use it one week and they're like, why the fuck does this feel so much worse than last week?
It's so funny whenever people use a machine, and I love that when people use a machine and they'll be like, this feels so different to last time, and I'll be like, did you write down the settings of the machine? I'll be like, no. And I'll be like, why not?
I wonder why. That's so weird.
Yeah, literally, why not? Even like me and you who can jump on a machine and feel it out, there's just no need to do that. Like you can just write down what it is and it just saves you a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah,
I don't think that's good.
Yeah, it looks cool. This one's fucking funny. Hyped ancestral diets and practices.
Oh, they're already fucking done. This isn't really a bodybuilding thing. This is more of a nutrition and fitness thing. There's still a lot of very political, like they feel political. There's a lot of very weird things about nutrition, and yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. It's very weird. Like there's a lot of like ancestral raw meat kind of shit. That's very weird.
Yeah, it's I heard somebody put this interesting the other day. I can't remember who it was, but like saying, you know, we need, like, for example, with kids, it's like, oh, you need a very like hyper specialized baby formula. I mean, breast milk's pretty good. They've been using that for a while. Cow's milk's pretty good. They've been using that for a while. Goat's milk's probably pretty good. They've been using that for a while. I think most people are probably going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's got to be specialized. Can't kill the kids.
They were just
definitely very far out my wheelhouse there, but
I'm trying not to like explode on this, but like, well, hey,
no, it'll be funny. Let's go. Let's go.
The whole movement of like people be like, oh, fiber's non-essential, so you don't need it. Carbs are bad for you, and the healthiest thing you can eat is like steak and eggs. It's just so fucking dumb. Like, we know that if you're going to eat a ton of saturated fat, if you're going to eat a ton of red meat, which a lot of people are doing when they're trying to eat like 3,000 plus calories of like all red meat, we know that animal sources of fat are pretty crap. The only really good ones off the top of my head that I can think of are fish or eggs. But as a general rule of thumb, plant fats, amazing. Plant proteins, kind of shit. Animal fats, kind of shit. Animal proteins, kind of great. Use animal sources as protein, use plant sources as fats if you have an omnivorous diet. Now, I don't have an issue with vegan or vegetarianism because plant protein isn't going to slowly kill you. It's just annoying to deal with. Animal fats have the potential to slowly kill you and clog your arteries. And people will eat steak and eggs and butter and cheese and be like, I feel fucking amazing. And like, cool, I'm glad that you feel great. However, go and get your fucking heart scan, go and get your artery scan. I promise you're going to see quite a lot of plaque buildup over even 3 or 6 months. And that's the issue, is people start eating shit on wooden chopping boards because they're worried about microplastics, even though wood splinters are far more prevalent than microplastics. If you wanted the best chopping board, you'd go and get a fucking metal one. Even then, it really doesn't matter.
Doesn't look cool though.
Oh yeah, it's all for Instagram. Just seeing people who like are eating, like, it's always like avocado, dates, eggs, and steak every single fucking meal, and like, that is not going to be as healthy of a diet as you think if you eat that every single fucking meal. A lot of people lack fiber. The thing about fiber is like, yeah, it's not essential for you to survive, but neither is the gym. That is also not essential. Neither is movement. That is also non-essential. But we can all agree, if you do move and you do go to the gym, you're probably going to thrive. If you do have a high fiber diet, you are going to thrive. Having a very low fiber diet puts you at risk of a lot of different types of bowel and colon related things, in particular cancers. And yeah,
colon, not colon.
Yeah. I meant colon, not like the fucking punctuation. A semicolon, colon. Which one is it? Which one's a semicolon?
No, semicolon. Yeah, semicolon. Fuck knows. Who knows?
They're fucking. But there's the issue of English. You get words that are pronounced the same, like cool and cool. When you get on a phone call with someone cool. Anyway, but the thing that annoys me is like a lot of people are just like, our nutritionists and food scientists are trying to hide this secret from you. Why?
No, they're not. They're definitely not.
Fucking why would they? Like, it really fucking bugs me. There are actual issues with like food manufacturing and food science and stuff like food scientists are trying to move against, and it's not fucking like telling you to avoid eating steak every meal. You can have steak, you can have red meat, just please do not have it for every single fucking meal. Like, please do not actively eat no fiber, please do not actively avoid plants. These are bad things for you, do not do them.
But you know what it reminds me of is people that think like, oh, Diet Coke gives you like makes you overweight or gives you cancer because people that are really overweight drink Diet Coke, and it's like a complete misunderstanding of the direction of causality. The reason that people that are overweight drink Diet Coke is because they're trying to lose weight. The reason that you stop eating the reason that you eat a load of red meat and natural foods and feel miles fucking better isn't because red meat is like the best thing ever and you need to be eating 700 grams of fat a day. It's because you were eating like a complete and utter cunt beforehand. And you're now no longer doing that. And shock horror, when you don't eat like a cunt, you don't feel like one.
Yeah, that always annoys me. People cutting out takeaways and being like, it's the carbs. Like, nah, bro, it's really not.
It's all of it.
The funny thing about diet is it really, really is important to have variety and balance. That really kind of is key. But people don't want to, you know, instead people would rather focus on just a few things or whatever, like eliminating certain food groups. Very fucking annoying.
It's way easier over the short term to say I'm not going to have this thing anymore than I'm going to learn to like actually fucking behave myself around it.
Yeah.
And it can be useful for a period of time, but you can coach someone and say, okay, like we're in a pretty deep deficit here. Why don't we be fasting for a little while, so that you can have a bit more calories in that period of the day where you're hungry, and we'll just have coffee up until fucking lunchtime. Or we're going to go low carb, but not because it's got loads of fucking crazy benefits for it, because it's the only thing that we can cut away from and minimize the impact that it's going to have, because you need to be on fucking 1,200 calories to carry on losing weight at the rate you want to.
Mm.
That's another one I think's dying actually as well, is saying that like you can't go on low calories.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear of very low calories, isn't there?
Like, yeah, you know, mate, all those people in Africa, they're fucking overweight because they ate too little food. But that's what happened, right? Okay.
The thing is, like, I always say this to people, if they're like, you know, putting someone on low calories, or if they're on low calories, I'll be like, you know, let's say they're on like 1,400 calories and they're not losing, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to do a food drop, and then they'll be like, why? And I'll be like, well, because we're not losing. And then they'll be like, but my food's already low. And I'll be like, well, tell that to the scale. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I can't just be like, oh, sorry, food's low. I guess we just will make the scale drop. Like, I can't do that. If you're on 4,000 calories and the scale wasn't moving, you would probably make some food changes. But as soon as it gets to a certain point, people don't anymore. And it's like, or like I had someone be like, oh, a PT stopped me and was like, hey, your food's way too low. Because they had a conversation about the food's way too low. You should be eating like 1,500 or whatever. And I was like, well, look, I can put you on 1,500 for 3 days. Watch what happens. Put them on it, gain weight. And it's like, okay, cool. Like there comes a point where you have to go, okay, well, this is just what I need, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I've got a horrendous story of I thought that the standard of trainers in this day and age was fucking terrible, but it's hit a new low. So there's one of the guys that used to work here we found out basically after he pretty much fucked off that someone paid him for 7 sessions and he just never delivered them and basically fucked off with the money. And someone paid him for 60 sessions.
What,
and he just fucked off and never delivered them. Yeah.
60?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean
like,
fucked off? What, he just like didn't show up?
Yeah, just like stop responding, doesn't show up to work anymore. And yeah, you're like, fuck me. That's wow.
What the fuck?
That is what we call a cunt, mate.
That's crazy. Thing is, you know, so clearly he's like somewhat financially focused. Does he know he'd make more money if if he did his job? Because then they would recur, those clients.
Yeah, you'd think so. So, wouldn't you?
Well, there you go. Do we have any more trends on there?
Yeah, no, that was all of them, mate. All of the good ones.
Wow.
If anyone's got any fucking PT horror stories, share them with us. That'd be funny.
Yeah, if anyone's got any trends that they want to share that they think are gonna survive or die, then let me know. Maybe we could do a couple of trends that we can quickly talk about a couple of trends that did die. One off the top of my head is the aesthetics thing. You remember Ziz and Stetics, and everyone was called Stetics in their fucking name and their bio.
Yeah, they got the fucking trident in there.
I've got a friend who unfortunately has the trident tattoo and he regrets it. Bless him.
Who's that?
I don't want to say because I want to embarrass him, but
oh, what a letdown. That's
yeah, I know.
So
he might be listening. If I get the numbers, I'll say it. But
the name is on the next episode. God's sake,
you know. But yeah, like I mean, that's one trend that died. Optimal died. No one said that because the issue was everyone kept saying optimal, and everyone was like, "Well, optimal implies what's best, and what's best is really situational. So then we kind of all stopped saying optimal, and instead we all focused on, like, I think people would say like science based. You know, that tends to be what people say now.
Yeah, no,
But
people have conflated science-based with like only fucking research. I'm like, no, what Dorian did was science-based. He tried it, he saw what worked, and then like changed his mind based on that. Oh,
yeah, I'm a fan of like what John Jewett says, where he's like, look, it's not about we're not study based. We're based on like the scientific method of like learn information, apply information, observe the outcome,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
go from there. You know, like if you see that like you do something and it works, lean into it. Like even something like that, most pros will be like, yeah, if it works, keep on doing it. It's like, well, congrats, that's the scientific method. You know, that is learning from what works and what doesn't work. Like that is experiment and outcome.
Weird that.
I know.
Very weird. What are you up to the rest of today?
Well, after this,
Are you feeling ill now? Are you okay? You seem okay.
I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. I have got legs. I trained upper yesterday. I felt very fucking nauseous towards the back end of the day, so I was a bit panicky. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I pulled back on the Clan and the Yihimbine a little bit because I don't want to kill myself. But
you don't want to what? Kill your what?
I don't want to kill myself off.
Aye.
And then yeah, fucking what am I on about, bro? My brain's already fucked. 3 days into dieting.
Coaching yourself now, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, look at this guy.
I know. I do want to get really quite lean in the next 8 weeks, so we'll see. I pulled out like 1,300 cows, and I put Clan and Yihimbine in, and I've doubled my steps. So
Fun vibes. See. You gone with the everything all at once protocol?
Not quite everything. Not quite everything.
Wide.
But I've probably played like you know I've done a good shift. I still feel alright though, but we'll see. And yeah, what about you, man? What up to today?
Very clean. I lost like £2 last week. Get shredded, mate.
Ooh. To be fair, I am currently already £10 down. So no, that doesn't mean much though, does it?
Yeah, you're away from me, so
a lot of water and carbs being dropped off there. A lot of water, man. A lot of water.
That's great.
But yeah,
less.
Right.
Mate. Good stuff.
Thanks everyone for listening. I hope everyone's enjoying Oblivion. Send us your builds. No one sent us the last episode isn't released yet because it's scheduled.
Yeah, that'd be why, mate. I sent you a picture of mine, right?
I think so. Resend it if you.
I'm a Khajiit. He just looks like a lion, and then I've got mostly use a bow, and then if anyone gets too close, I'll just like fuck them up with touch magic. I love.
Are you going to do stealth? You're doing stealth archer in Oblivion.
No, the stealth is wank, man. I'm just sort of regular archer with a bit of magic. I've changed my mind already.
It's hard to be purely magic in Oblivion because it
doesn't make sense.
You need a staff to do purely magic.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Which is hard. All right, fucking hell, we could talk about this forever. Thanks everyone for listening.
We'll give an update next week. Start playing.
We will. See you.